Maharaj and give class, we all have to be prepared for that. You have to have an idea of what you're going to do, because sometimes many of us get older or something happens and you have to be prepared to jump up and give a class. So many people say no, 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 no. Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giribharadhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giribharadhari Yasoda Nandana Rajajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiara Banachari Yamuna Tiara Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giribharadhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giribharadhari Yasoda Nandana Rajajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiara Banachari Yamuna Tiara Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giribharadhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Giribharadhari Yasoda Nandana Rajajana Ranjana Yasoda Nandana Rajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tiara Banachari Yamuna Tiara Banachari Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajakacharya Austerter Setta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Parvajakacharya Austerter Setta Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada Ki Ananta Gaudiya Vaishnavindi Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Shikaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Adi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Shri Shri Radha Radhanath Ki Gaura Hari Ki Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Bhagavad Gita Ki Durban Yatra Ki Temple of the Vedic Planetarium Ki. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to you, Srila Prabhupada. So we will be reading from the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 24th chapter, 78th verse. But before that, what do we do? What do we do before we start the class? What? Do what? What mantra? Okay, good. But make sure you remembered it. We do it pretty much every day, don't we? Okay. It goes like this. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So my stomach was off yesterday and I was having some issues. So I went to bed early so that I could come here to give the class. Even though there are others like Maharaj and so many more that are more qualified. But the good part is that when we give class, Krishna has to help us, right? Isn't it? If we give class, Krishna has to help us, right? So that's why we like giving it. You see, devotees who've been around, they're always thinking, oh, other people are qualified, or I need Krishna's mercy even more. If a little bit is good, a lot is better. That's true with devotional service, but not with many things. Okay, you ready? We'll start with word for word. Idam, ya, kalya, utaya, pranjalay, Shraddhayan Vitaha, Shrinuyat, Jayavin, Marjo, Muchate, Karma, Bandhanae, Idamya Kalya Utaya, Prajanali, Shraddhayan Vitaha, Shrinuyat Travayan Marjo, Muchate Karma Bandhanae, Idamya Kalya Utaya, Pranjalai Shraddhayan Vitaha, Shrinuyat Travayan Marjo, Muchate Karma Bandhane, Idamya Kalya Utaya, Pranjanali Shraddhayan Vitaha, Shrinuyat Travayan Marjo, Muchate Karma Bandhanai. Repeat. Ladies, Vaishnavis. Others? I can't hear. Are they chanting? I turned the hearing aids up. Is it saying it? No? Okay. Word for word. Idam, this prayer. Ya, a devotee who. Kalye, early in the morning. Utaya, after getting up from bed. Pranjanalai, with folded hands. Shraddhaya, with faith and devotion. Anvitaha, thus being absorbed. Shrinuyat, personally chants and hears. Shravayat, and gets others to hear. Marcha, such a human being. Muchate, becomes freed. Karma bandhanai, from all kinds of actions resulting from fruitive activities. Translation. A devotee who rises early in the morning and with folded hands chants these prayers sung by Lord Shiva and gives facility to others to hear them certainly becomes free from all bondage to fruitive activities. We'll repeat this together because I'm going to give you guys a test on this after we read the purport. A devotee who rises early in the morning and with folded hands chants these prayers sung by Lord Shiva and gives facility to others to hear them certainly becomes free from all bondage to fruitive activities. Remember that. That's going to be on the test too. Purport. Mukti or liberation means becoming free from the results of fruitive activities. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Muktir hita atav rupam, mukti means giving up all other activities and being situated in one's constitutional position. Remember that, because I'm going to quiz you on that too. Svarupena vyastitaha. In this conditioned state, we are entangled by one fruitive activity after another. Karma bandhana means the bonds of fruitive activity. As long as one's mind is absorbed in fruitive activities, he has to manufacture plans for happiness. The Bhakti Yoga process is different. For Bhakti Yoga means acting according to the order of the Supreme Authority. When we act under the direction of the Supreme Authority, we do not become entangled by fruitive results. For instance, Arjuna fought because the Supreme Personality of Godhead wanted him to. Therefore, he was not responsible for the outcome of the fighting. As far as devotional service is concerned, even hearing and chanting is as good as acting with our body, mind, and senses. Actually, hearing and chanting are also activities of the senses. When the senses are utilized for one's own sense gratification, they entangle one in karma. Remember that, that's going to be on the test also. But when they are used for satisfaction of the Lord, they establish one in bhakti. Please, Prabhupada and Sri Sri Radharanath, help me. Thank you. Okay. So on Sunday, the 18th of January, at 11:30, I will be giving a class here in the temple room. And this is a class that most people won't need to hear, because we're going to talk about imperfect senses. Now, of course, the most people that don't need to hear it are in the spiritual world. Anybody here with perfect senses? Raise your hand. Nobody? So that means you should be here, right? 3/4 of the people are in the spiritual world. Those are the smart ones, right? Krishna talks about the fallible and the infallible. I think we're the fallible ones. And the more we think we're infallible, the more we get into trouble. When we realize that we have imperfect senses and other things go along with it, then we have to be more cautious. Just like if I don't know where to go, I need to get directions from someone. In life, if we don't know where to go or what our goal is, we won't get there, right? If you don't know where you're going, how will you get there? So we should probably have a manual for how to live in this material world. If you were going to use a manual, what would you use? Somebody must know. What is it? Which one? What's the manual? Bhagavad Gita. Krishna explains only a few things in there, so each of them is important. You know, on the Brahmaloka, the Srimad Bhagavatam is 1,000,000 or more verses. But Bhagavad Gita is only 700 verses, including the ones by Arjuna. And the first verse isn't even spoken by Krishna Arjuna. Who is it spoken by? Who? Dhritarashtra, that's right. So that gets you down to about $6.99, right? So these verses must be important. So when we're looking here at this verse and the purport, because I will talk more about the imperfect senses and what goes along with that on Sunday. Now remember, if your senses are perfect, then don't come. 3/4 of the people have perfect senses, but they're in the spiritual world. So, when does a devotee rise early? When does the devotee rise? I gave that away. When do they rise? I'll give you choices. Early in the morning, 10 in the morning, noon, or 4 in the afternoon. Which one is it? Is that what it said, early in the morning? You're sure? It does say that. Kalye, early in the morning. And then after getting up from bed, what do? They say the first things you do in the morning are going to set the day. If a person gets up and looks for negative news on the internet first thing, don't worry, you will be able to find negative news on the internet, because there's a lot of crazy people doing a lot of crazy things, and that does better news than it won't show up that certain people came again to Mangal Artik and worship the deities. That won't show up in the news because it's not something exciting enough. It's something out of the ordinary they put in the news. So the folded hands means with what? Do we just go through it with like a computer does? Like you can train the birds how to chant Hare Krishna, but maybe they don't know what it means. So how do we offer the prayers? With what? There's 2 words. One begins with an F and one with a D. What are they? Faith and what else? What begins with a D? Deviation? Desires? Devotion. That would be better. But do many people pray with desires instead of devotion? Yes? It's like materially, if they say, hey, they're giving away kilos of gold there and other items. So you go in and say, what are you giving? Well, we're giving away kilos of gold, and we also have some used milk cartons. Oh, I'll take the used milk cartons because I can use them for something. Is this the best cost to value? We find that in some scriptures of the world, they talk about how you go to hell if you don't do this, and they make absolute statements. The way Krishna explains it is on the cost to benefit. These are the things you do, this is the benefit you get. Like if I say you go to the bar to get intoxicated, you spend lots of money, you meet members of the opposite sex who are the wrong ones, and when you walk out of the bar, they rob you. So whatever money you didn't spend, they steal. So how does the cost to benefit look there? Not so good? Next week will be different though. This is a mode of ignorance. You think I'll do the same thing, but the result will change. Because we think if I change my mind about it, then reality changes with it. But it isn't. We have to see here the cost to benefit ratio. So we offer the prayers with faith and devotion. And do we do them while doing 3 or 4 other things, or while being absorbed? It's better to be absorbed in it, because the way the mind works, it has a thing called a reticular regulator. Whatever you tell the mind is important, it says, okay, the other things will wait. So if I'm chanting, thinking, I'm going to say the names and hear the names, and don't think about other stuff. Then if I think, maybe I should check the internet or the phone or turn on the television, then what does the mind do? It says, okay, that's not as important. It goes on the back burner. That's why we must attune our mind to what is the most important thing. When there's danger here, do you hear a faint voice of a woman saying, I think there's danger here at the temple? Or does it go, wah, wah, wah? Why does it do that? Why does it make that noise so loud? Because it wants you to concentrate on that. If someone's just whispering it, you may not get the point. So the reason is, it's funny, Prabhupada said, what was that? And the alarm went off. I said, that's the alarm. Prabhupada said, who's in danger? So just like the alarm tunes our mind, when that goes off, it makes you concentrate on that. So we have to do the same with our mind. We make the mind concentrate on it. That's why I write in my book the things I have to do later. They say, do you do that to remember? I said, no, I can remember them. I do it so that I can forget about it while I'm chanting. You know, it's a good idea to look on the internet and send emails and talk to people on the phone, but not while you're driving the car or chanting rounds, yes? We have to do the most productive thing at every moment. Sometimes in the day it is checking the computer. Sometimes in the day it is talking on the phone. But you have to make sure that the thing you're doing is the most important. People try to multitask and then they chant their rounds while they're doing something else, and both things take 5 times as long, which means you're running negative, not positive. If you could do both at the same speed, maybe if you're Lord Brahma with 4 heads, or the one in the other universe. I wanted him to come here, but he has like 10 million heads, and he has a big universe, and he's very busy. But he can do things we can't, but yet he's still so busy that he won't come here. So, with faith and devotion, and we chant and hear. And what's the result? We get a discount at the discount? Is that it? Well, actually you might, because by living this way you won't have as many medical problems, so you will have a discount at the discount. But that's not the major benefit, right? So I think if you're here and you don't feel depressed and have to get intoxicated, you save money, but it isn't the major benefit. What is the major benefit here? We talked about the actions you take and what happens. Do we become free from the bondage to fruitive activities? As it says here, as long as one's mind is absorbed in fruitive activities, he has to manufacture plans for happiness. Because the illusion people are thinking is, you know what, I'll just go out and engage in some sense gratification for like 10, 15 minutes or years. Like the one person says, yeah, I only took drugs one time for 20 years, right? As long as they don't stop, it's only one time. So a person thinks, well, I'll just try it once. It's kind of like suicide. I'll put a bullet in my head, but I'll just do it once. Once can't hurt you, right? Especially if you use a little bullet. But people think this way. Why is it a bondage of it? Because once you engage in that activity, you want to do more of it. I wake up in the morning thinking I have to get in the shower and get finished so I can start chanting rounds. Why do many people not think this way? Because they haven't done it before, right? Some people wake up and they think I have to check on the cricket match and see who's playing. Why don't I do this? I haven't done it before. I only know the name of one cricket player, and that's Sachin Tendulkar. And I know there's 11 players, and I know there's a bowler and a batter, but I don't know anything more about it. Now, why haven't I done that? Why is it I didn't learn about cricket? What didn't I do? I didn't devote any time to it, right? At least if I went out on the field and watched them playing, I could get some idea. Like I know in cricket there's a wicket, but I don't know exactly what a wicket looks like because I haven't dedicated the time to it. So you might think that doing a certain kind of work, it doesn't pay money. Well, did you try it? No. It's like they say, oh, that medication didn't work. Did you take it? No. But it makes it look like it didn't work. When does chanting work? And when doesn't it work? When do chanting rounds, when do they work and when do they not work? When you chant them, it works. When you don't, it doesn't. People say, oh, well, the chanting won't help me out. Did you try it? No. Then how are you qualified to say that? That's why with certain medications, if it cures 100% of the time, they call the people and ask if they're taking it. Because if only 90% of the people take the medicine and those people get cured, can they claim 90% or 100? They can only claim 90 because they have to think that of all the people prescribed it, if only 90% took it, even if it's 100% with them, it's only 90% of the total people. So that's why one of the things here we look at. Now, I discussed many things here. The fruit of activity, the problem with it is that with ego we can jump in and jump out, right? Like you can go down to the beach with the rip current and you can swim way out there and you can just swim back, right? Maybe not. The current might be too rough. You might end up in Madagascar if you went that far. So what does the manual tell us? While contemplating the objects of the senses, doesn't sound so bad, a person develops attachment from them. From such attachment, lust arises. Then it makes them want to engage in it. And the problem is, what the mind promises how we're going to enjoy, it doesn't actually give us as much enjoyment as promised. So then there's anger. From anger, there's bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. Does it sound like the things are getting better or worse? In that, first you're contemplating, okay, from that attachment comes, it's like they say, you're hooked on a drug or hooked on something, it's like the fish bites the hook, and then he can just let the hook go anytime, right? If he's bit the hook, it's attached. And then sometimes a fisherman lets him go out with a line. He thinks, well, so far it's not so bad. But then when he wants to reel him in, he reels him in. So this is the trouble, that when we engage in a mode, we become attached to that. That's why they're called gunas. A guna is a rope. And a rope, they pull you. If you have an animal on a rope, you may let him go, but when you want to pull him back, you pull him back. So it appears that each stage gets worse. While contemplating the objects of the senses, you get attachment. From such attachment, lust arises. From lust, anger develops. From that, intelligence is lost. Does that sound good? Who wants to lose their intelligence? And from that, memory's bewildered. Does each stage sound worse? And then we fall in a material pool. So each stage gets worse. Krishna talks about this in the 3rd chapter of Bhagavad Gita, where Arjuna says, what is it that causes the living entity to act almost against his will? He says it's lust and lust alone. The mind works in a certain way. We think it's all material, it's all just Maya. But if it's in the right form, it looks good to us, doesn't it? It's just like the birds come up to the other birds and say, wow, isn't that a cute myna bird? Do we think that way? And the fish look at the other fish? No, we think that the forms of the opposite sex look good, a certain degree to a certain age. But it's all part of illusion of the material world. And we give into it, we're going to develop more attachment to it. Just like I don't think about the cricket because I haven't devoted any time to it. If I had decided I was attached to a certain team, when my team wins, I'm happy. People say, oh, my team won or my team lost. I said, you own a cricket team? They say, my team, as if they own it, right? You got to be pretty rich to own a football team or a cricket team or a soccer team or any of those teams, right? But people decide they identify with the team, and the team wins or loses, they become elated or depressed. But they don't own the team, do they? But the people take ownership of it, as if this is going to go out and act on my behalf. So, as we become attached to these things, the situation becomes worse. And that's why Krishna says that, how do you stop the lust? He says you use deliberate spiritual intelligence. It means, Sankhya means counting. We go back to this cost to benefit. Okay, the cost here is a little less. You think like the cost of the mode of passion is less than the cost of the mode of ignorance. It's also less than the cost of the mode of goodness. And in passion, you get the pleasure in the beginning. And it's not as bad as ignorance and not as costly as goodness. So that must be the best mode to be in, correct? Most people think this way, but is it true? Sure, the cost may be half or 1/5 what ignorance is. And it's not as bad as that. It's like being robbed and beaten as compared to being killed. Sure, it isn't as bad, but it still isn't a good choice. And sure, the cost is less than the mode of goodness, but the mode of goodness gives a higher return. It's what we're promised. Like I told someone, I can make 100,000 rand on your money in one day. You give me 100,000 rand, I keep your 100,000 rand, and I made 100,000 rand on your money. But you're thinking, hey, I'm going to double my money here. It's like buying the property in Namibia that Donald Trump talks about. You can get it much cheaper than South Africa, and you think, wow, I got a deed for 1 acre in the country of Namibia for 1/10 the price of what it is in South Africa. Therefore, I made 90% on my money, right? Is that true? No, because it doesn't exist. It sounds good. The cost is less, but the benefit comes out in negative, especially when you've been paying the tax bill on this property for years and find out, why am I paying a tax when it doesn't? And then they charge you for maintenance of it. You get all these charges for something that really isn't going to benefit you. So you have to understand that the cost of goodness may be more than passion, but the benefit far outweighs it. This is cost to benefit, and this is why you deliberate. Deliberate means like with a jury. I remember I was on the jury service, and I'll have to use some examples here to show it. Deliberate means you take in all the facts. Okay, what is the benefit I'm getting? What is the cost? And where does it lead me to? Like you go to school, can't be as good as working at ShopRite. ShopRite pays you right away. School pays you nothing. But when you go to school and earn 10 to 100 times as much later, it's better. So on the jury, we have to deliberate. We hear all the facts. The one woman said she was here in the little car, and she said the truck hit her here, and she went all the way over here to the fast lane. Oh, I better reverse these, because in South Africa it's the other way around, right? So, okay, she said she was here, and the truck hit her here, and she went all the way over to the fast lane, and then he drove off. Sounds like hit and run. But when you look at all the facts, you realize that if he hit her here, would she go that way? No, she would go this way. And the fact that she was in such a small car means that she didn't even notice it. So when you deliberate fully, Krishna says fully, not just halfway, you deliberate fully, then you take action. That's why we don't just whimsically take action. Someone says, hey, you want to go with me to Namibia? Sure, I'll pack my bag. First, you need to find out where it is, what's going on, why are we going there? Says a devotee doesn't go somewhere unless the purpose is Krishna. So we think, well, is the purpose Krishna? Why am I going there? What am I doing? And so we have to analyze where the road is going. There was a song by Led Zeppelin that said, there's always two paths you can go on, but there's still time to change the road you're on. You can't think, hey, well, I'm already on the wrong road, right? If I get on the N2 and I'm driving north, trying to go to Cape Town, and someone says, hey, but Cape Town is the other way. You go, yeah, but I'm already on this road and I've already traveled some distance. The farther I go, the farther I am away from Cape Town, isn't it? I may have gone the wrong way, but the quicker I can turn around and go the other way, the better off I am. Some people think, hey, if I'm making good time, does it matter what direction I'm going? It does matter. So we have to deliberate and look at these things. And when do we do it? From the very beginning. Do we wait till the mind has contemplated the objects of the senses, and then we develop attachment for them? And then you go get involved and think, well, now I'll just get myself out of this. I'll call someone and tell them what I've done. It's like the difference. If you contemplated robbing the bank, and you call one of the devotees and said, you know, I need money, so I was thinking about robbing the bank. Then they talk you out of it. Would that be better? Or you wait till you've robbed the bank, and now the police has surrounded you, and they're coming in with guns. And then you call up Jai Sachinanda and says, can you send a car to come and get me? The police have me surrounded because I've robbed the bank. Can you please send someone to come get me out of this? When should they have called you? Before they did it or after? You're supposed to ask someone before you do something, right? Like if you're considering committing suicide, do you call someone before you do it or afterwards? Afterwards? Say, I've killed myself, now what do I do? But there's one thing in here that I didn't discuss in this verse. What was that I didn't discuss? I went over many things from the verse. It talks about the devotee who rises early in the morning with folded hands, chants the prayers sung by Lord Shiva, and he does something else, and he becomes free from the bondage to fruitive activities. What else does he do? Is what? No, but there's one other action he takes. That's the result. We are reading the actions he takes. With folded hands, he offers the prayers with attention and concentration. And what else do they do? What's that? Yes. This is what Krishna says in the end of the Bhagavad Gita, that one who teaches this science to my devotees is the most dear, and never will there be one more dear. He gives facility to others. That can mean a lot of things. It can mean you show someone where the temple is. You don't have to be able to discuss the 10 major points of the Srimad Bhagavatam. or talk about the difference between the morphology and ontology of Krishna consciousness, you can just tell people where the temple is and show them where the mantra is. Another thing, someone's ready to be a brahmachari, we build a building and create a space to them. Facility could be many things. We show them how to chant on beads. So when we give this facility and help others to do it, it's kind of like if you have a product to sell and you engage salespeople to go out and sell. The salespeople make money off your product, right? If I have 20 salespeople out there, they all make money, right? But I make money off of each one of them, don't I? So if we engage people, give them the facility, then we get credits for that. And when they engage other people, we also get that credit. So this is one of the things that Prabhupada did that many others didn't want to do. He created the facility. And this is why we always have to be thinking that. And we have to be happy when other people are creating a facility. The last time I gave the Sunday lecture here, we talked about the things that make one dear to Krishna, like one who's not envious but a kind friend to all living entities, who doesn't think himself a proprietor, who is free from false ego. Is Krishna just sort of coming up with strange ideas, or do these seem like good concepts to have? Did he list a group of excuses to these or exceptions, right? Kind friend to which living entities? Those who are of my race and my particular tribe? Or did he say all? What does all mean? All doesn't mean all. It's like, if I'm an American, it only means all Americans, right? So it means I only have to make friends here with Ramanujacharya, right? Because all means only my own people. So I will make friends with all living entities. But only Americans count, right? As Donald Trump, America first, right? So I had to work harder at it during the 50-year celebration, because now I had to make friends with several people. What other Americans were here? Kshudi Kirti was here. Who else? Any other Americans? Who? Madhavi, yes. See, so at that point I had to be a kind friend to 3 living entities, because when they say all, it only means Americans, doesn't it? It's like my mother used to say that George Bush cared about all the people. George Bush, Dick Cheney, his vice president, and Donald Rumsfeld, his Secretary of State. That is all the people. Your problem is you think you exist. So this is why many people can become prejudiced. It's because if you just decide that only certain people have a right to exist, then you don't have to consider them. But we have to see that Krishna gives us the manual. And we'll be talking more about this on Sunday. Some of the things that Krishna mentions that we can do, because the problem is we have imperfect senses. And if you can come here to prove to me how you don't have imperfect senses, that will be good, but it won't be possible, right? We can even talk about great people who thought their senses were imperfect, but it didn't turn out that way. So any questions or comments on this? Does Krishna give us pretty clear-cut directions here? Yes? Any questions or comments? Corrections? Is it true that only Americans are the ones that are important? Can you tell me if that's true or not?
Not true.
But Donald Trump says that he's president of the United States.
He's a fascist.
So does Krishna say all, but he gives exemptions? Except this one, except that one.
All living entities means all have taken have
Yeah, we have
material
to
bodies.
take it, Krishna means what he says.
Sarvadeinam.
Yes. Krishna makes it simple. Someone said, Prabhupada, you said that Krishna consciousness was easy. He said, no, I said Krishna consciousness was simple. I didn't say it was easy. But when we try to complicate it, when we try to change what's given to us, it's like the recipe shows how to add a couple of ingredients, cook at a certain degree. When you change the recipe, do you get the same product? It's like I'm going to make a mango cake. Instead of adding mangoes, I'll add zucchini. And instead of adding sugar, I'll add black pepper. Instead of adding flour, I will add sawdust. And instead of cooking at 200 degrees for 1 hour, I will cook at 300 degrees for 5 hours. What will I get? I'll get a brisket pie, right? But people think some things are the best. The people love the briskets and the braai, the burnt meat. But do you know that that's the worst thing you can eat? Because meat is already bad enough, unhealthy, but when you burn it, it creates bad chemicals like acrylamide. But they spend all the extra time to burn this meat, and then when you add sugar to it, the barbecue sauce, it becomes even worse. Do you think the people that go to a braai enjoy hearing this? I remember seeing that. I was at a farmer's market in Long Beach, and they said, barbecue this. I said, unfortunately, the barbecue is the most unhealthy thing you can eat. And the one woman says, I don't appreciate hearing that. It's like the person going to shoot themselves in the head. And I said, you'll kill yourself. I don't appreciate hearing that. Isaiah, you have a question? Who else has a question? So we educate people on what's good for them, but for their benefit, not to prove we know something and they don't. Shall we stop there? Hare Krishna. See, even when we're unqualified like me, if we get up to give class, Krishna helps us. So that's the main thing, that we just have to try it. Just like you may not be an electrical engineer, but if you make the effort to put the plug in, you will get light. Hare Krishna.